Sztanyo, what is going on? Happy Sunday evening. Welcome into Team Sztanyo Live, where we're talking everything about Cincinnati. We had a hard week. We had a good week this week. We're going to talk about something we lost. We're going to talk about something we won, something we gave away. And we're going to look at what's going on in Cincinnati here with the Sundance Film Festival. But we're going to look at some other real estate development things as well. So pretty excited to jump into the show. As always, I hope you're having a great week, a great weekend. Got to ask you a question. Any of those are out there? I cannot figure out how to get my photos to like import to my Mac. I don't understand what's going on. Like, why is this so hard? This is Apple. This is supposed to be easy. I just spent about 20 minutes trying to get it to dump onto photos onto a external hard drive. No luck. I don't know what's going on. So, hey, so the title of this video is What Makes Cincinnati Iconic. You'll understand why that is in just a minute here, because Cincinnati did end up losing to the film festival. Let's bring this up here real quick. All right. So here's what's going on. And by the way, shout out to Seth Walsh, because you had this tweet that I thought was spot on, because you shared these amazing photos. I had to make a thumbnail that was pretty similar to it here. But here is the headline, kind of from X here. Sundance attendees are worried about a move to Cincinnati. We were in the final running here. I feel like the legacy of Sundance is decades of cool storytellers trudging up and down snowy Main Street. There's a vibe, a hipness to it. It's iconic. What's iconic about Cincinnati? Well, probably a few things. Alex, what's up, man? I'm an Android user and have only one recommendation. I mean, I want to make the switch to Android. I'm not going to lie. It feels like, once you're so far into the system, this is the only thing they're selling you right now is just the ecosystem. And it's like everything's integrated. I kind of want to just rip the Band-Aid off, because I mean, ever since Jobs passed away, has there been really any improvements here with Apple? I don't think so. So, yeah, I know what your recommendation is going to be. So, yeah, since we lost out to Sundance. So here's kind of the headline here. Sundance, they worry about the fest moving to Cincinnati as decision looms, but advocates say that it's coastal elitist bias. So what do you guys think? Is it coastal elitist bias? It's kind of a tough week for Cincinnati. We had our opening day, which was pretty epic as usual. A lot of people had a good time. And Cincinnati lost in epic fashion, giving up, 4 runs in the 9th? Not super cool. Ended up losing 6-4. We lost this Sundance Film Festival. One thing we didn't lose, I want to shout this out here real quick, is we did a giveaway for Bengals season tickets. We gave away a 4-pack of Bengals season tickets. Team Sztanyo did. We had, if you guys are following us on social, all you had to do was call in. Give us your contact info, and you were entered to win a 4-pack of Bengals season tickets for 2025. We gave away the winner on, let's see, I think it was Friday afternoon. We did this giveaway, and shout out to Patrick Ryan of Hamilton, Ohio, who won this. He's going to be coming in this week to claim the prize, make everything official, get everything signed off, get some photos, get the actual tickets. So that was pretty epic. I don't know if that's probably not coming through audio. But we did, kind of the official roulette selection here to make sure everyone had a fair chance. And Patrick Ryan won. So pretty pumped about that. So while Cincinnati lost some other things, we didn't lose. Patrick Ryan didn't lose. The Growl Pals didn't lose. And anyone following the Sztanyo Clanyo, that we're giving away all kinds of good stuff here. So let's get into this article, because I think this is kind of interesting. I think there's something about this that, like, as I read this and as I read people's responses on X, I'll get into it. Let me read this article, and then I'll tell you kind of my thoughts here. Okay. So while party-ready attendees grumble that J-Lo isn't going to play a secret party in Ohio, Sundance insiders believe the complaints are coming from people who don't actually know the community. I remember the first time I came here, a producer with a film at this year's Sundance told me in January while devouring a sandwich at the Annex Burger, blah, 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 in Park City. Seeing the mountains as you drive in, getting to know your neighbors and bartenders, watching people in their winter gear. It's just such a unique vibe. With love to Ohio, I don't think you're going to get this energy and beautiful setting in the Midwest. So this is this article in a nutshell, which is basically people who live in the mountains crapping on Ohio in the Midwest. And okay, I get it. Let's keep going. Although the Sundance Film Festival still has one more year left in its Park City location, the talk of this year's fest was its departure to a new home in 2027. Boulder, Colorado, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Salt Lake City and Park City are the 3 candidate spots per the organization, and a final decision is expected any day now. They actually did decide. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm not going to go through all this, but the ending comment here just kind of cracked me up. Yeah, that doesn't alleviate vocal concerns that deal makers won't follow the festival out east. While the compact Main Street setup of Park City allows for brands to have splashy signage in a concentrated area, a more spread out fest in Cincinnati doesn't allow for the same ubiquity. Yes, some members of the filmmaking community who know Cincinnati best advocate for the city as a vibrant potential home for the festival. Brandon Harris, a critic, filmmaker, and former development executive at Amazon Studios, was born and raised in the city, and his 2012 feature Red Legs there. He points to the city's booming filmmaking scene, which has attracted directors like Todd Haynes and Steven Soderbergh, as well as its solid infrastructure and rich cultural history as benefits of heading to the Midwest. I think moving to Cincinnati would certainly speak to a desire to be in a less rarefied and more accessible place. All right, I'll take that. I think those are the right words for Cincinnati. Less rarefied and more accessible, not just geographically, but socio-culturally, he said. It's a blue city in a red state that is vastly more diverse than Boulder or Park City. It's the home of both the National Underground Railroad Museum and the birthplace of Reform Judaism. It feels to me like a place is more representative of the America that Sundance is trying to reach than the other potential candidates, and the America that the film industry is struggling to figure out how to reach with its wares. No question on that. Get over here to the Midwest, where the people are, where the people live. Furthermore, a source close to the Sundance organization waves off criticism of Cincinnati as coastal elitist bias and maintains that the festival is focused on film, not activations and parties at TAO or TAO. I don't even know what that is. What remains to be seen is who would follow the fest to the Midwest. One director screening a short film at this year's Sundance said he wasn't sure if he'd submit to a version held elsewhere. And here's the quote that stung just a little bit. I feel like the legacy of Sundance is decades of cool storytellers trudging up and down a snowy Main Street. There's a vibe, there's a hipness to it. You think of Reservoir Dogs and Sex Lies and Videotape and Robert Redford and Winter Gear. It's iconic. What's iconic about Cincinnati? So I just love that, right? You had to get that shot in there of like, hey, Sundance, we're cool, we're hip, we vibe, we are maybe a little bit more elite, and there's nothing iconic. We're iconic. There's nothing iconic about Cincinnati. Well, I mean, I don't know. I would go back to this a little bit. I mean, I would say the Roebling is pretty iconic. You know, I would say that, you know, there's some iconic to FC Cincinnati here and the art that's going on here. There's some iconicness to Cincinnati Music Hall and the architecture that we have in Cincinnati. There's some iconicness to man, look at this. Look how beautiful this is. To the History Museum. We got some iconic stuff here. So, I mean, just looking at some of these tweets, I thought were funny. The people make our city great, safe, big city. I've been to and had the pleasure of living in multiple metropolitan areas, and Cincinnati is the best by far. If you doubt it, you should visit yourself and make an educated decision. By the way, I love Blink. Go every year. Never, even the homeless are nice. So you see the Roebling here with Blink. Covington's number 1. These expletive can stay out of our city. We don't need this. Let's not tell them the greatness of Cincy, because then they will tell their friends and their friends tell their friends, and then we have a bunch of non-Cincinnatians walking around the ruining the vibe. I think this is kind of a constant thing. Like I bring this up this week just because, you know, this is kind of the vibe of Cincinnati. We often get overlooked from a national scene. So something like Sundance, that's like cool and hip. The people who run that kind of look at Cincinnati and they're like, nah, even though we got great theaters, we got great infrastructure, there's great diversity here, there's great history here, it's accessible. Like, we check the boxes on why we should win this thing. If you go back and read these articles, but there is, I don't know if this will ever change. I mean, this is why I got like Joe Burrow on the wall here, and Burrow is pretty cool and people think he's cool nationally. If we win a Super Bowl or two here in the city, I think that might change the reputation a little bit, but I just think there's something to the fact that people nationally like to kind of look down on Cincinnati. And there's something about people locally that are always like, want to be, we want to have the fame. We want to have the hitness. We want to have the vibe. But people nationally are always going to kind of overlook it. And it's a weird kind of tension there. But I think the people who are kind of in this, if you go look at this thread on X, they're like, yeah, but we don't want them here. And there's always going to be that in any city, right? Because then you might turn into Nashville, you might turn into Austin. And a lot of people who lived in Nashville or Austin or whatever other city that had a boom in the last 5-10 years would be like, I don't recognize my city anymore. And a lot of those people who lived there moved out. And so that could certainly happen here in Cincinnati. As of now, it's not like that. It's still flyover city. And the people who live here are like, yeah, we know what we have. We know we have something amazing here. I agree with the article. Cincinnati's good at everything, but we're not known for that one thing or two. Yeah, we're not known for being iconic. And I think that's cool. And so I think like to take this as a slight is, I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I think what Cincinnati is great for is being accessible, is being affordable, is being a family-friendly town. I did a couple videos that are going to come out on the channel soon called "Is Cincinnati a Great Place to Raise a Family?" And this is what I think Cincinnati is great at. I think Cincinnati is a great place to raise a family. It's a great place that if you still want the American dream, if you want to buy a house and not rent for the rest of your life, you can come here and afford that and still have a city that has 3 professional sports, football, baseball, and soccer, an incredible art scene, incredible food scene. There's a lot, the parks, there's a lot going on here, but it's like, we're not going to be known as the hip city, right? Or iconic or whatever it is. So I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to share that, wanted to see what you guys thought on that. Now, what we do have going forward here in the rest of the show is we do have a place where you can invest. And like I said, it's affordable. So here's another headline. Cincinnati has a banner year for corporate investments. It laps larger cities and Midwest peers. Greater Cincinnati saw a larger jump in corporate investment projects last year than most of its peer cities and most other cities in the Midwest, according to a newly released data from Site Selection magazine. The Cincinnati region ranked 5th in the United States with 55.5 corporate facility investments per capita in 2024, an improvement of 3 spots from the prior year. Who else is on this list? Austin, Texas topped the per capita list with 69.1 projects per capita. Chicago, Dallas, and Houston rounded out the top 5. So where is Cincy? Okay, so we're not hip. Maybe we're not iconic, compared to whatever, having Robert Redford on the mountains in Park City. But we do have a place where you can invest, and we're in the top 5 in terms of corporate investments in the United States per capita. Let's keep going here. Cincinnati ranked above Louisville, Kentucky, Kansas City, Columbus, Ohio, Boston, and Birmingham. So those 3 other cities are where oftentimes Cincinnati is competing in the Midwest: Louisville, Kansas City, Columbus. You can throw in there Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Indianapolis for sure. The Queen City also fared well in total project count with 126 last year. That ranked 7th nationally. 126 corporate development projects last year. That ranked 7th nationally, coming in above LA Atlanta, Phoenix, and Washington, D.C. Okay, so we're not hip, we're not iconic, but we are building things because it's affordable here. Cincinnati did not place among the top 10 in the same metric last year. The 2024 project count is 38.5% higher than 2023, the third largest jump among cities that place in the top 10 in either year. That 38.5% jump is also the largest jump among cities generally described as being in the Midwest. Only Cleveland saw a larger jump, going from 48 to 74 projects. Those Midwestern cities include Chicago, Indianapolis, Columbus, Detroit, Louisville, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Kansas City, St. Louis, and Minneapolis. So I'm just curious about this going forward, and the investment in these Midwest cities. Cincinnati's kind of leading the charge here. Here's a few of the large projects announced in Greater Cincinnati in 2024. MedPace's $327 million headquarters expansion, Procter & Gamble's massive relocation expansion plans, GE Aerospace had $107 million facilities investments, Niagara Bottling's new $129 million manufacturing site, Enable Injections $120 million manufacturing center, Chick-fil-A's $100 million distribution center, Thermo Fisher Scientific's $48 million lab extension, Atricure's $45 million headquarter expansion, Paycor's moved downtown into a $30 million renovation project, Mubia's $24 million manufacturing expansion, $60 million, Vega America, Cintas, Trues, L2, Six Stigmas, Hip Promotional Products, Pacific Manufacturing, Modula's facility, PL Marketing's, US Playing Cards $5 million expansion. So a lot of business going on here in Cincinnati. A lot of development here. One thing I wanted to point out here, another article that came out is city planners are reviewing a proposal for Chick-fil-A plan for Uptown. It's going to be up by UC. Would be built near the University of Cincinnati, would seat 90 indoors. If approved, this would be Cincinnati's 20th Chick-fil-A location. And I just want to mention that because you're probably going to see more Chick-fil-A's around since they are distributing here with their $100 million distribution center. So if you're a fan of Truett Cathy and Chick-fil-A, which I am, and those waffle fries with the sauces, pretty fantastic. You might be seeing more of those around. Speaking of food, let's mention another one that's coming up here. Jenny's Ice Cream. Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams to open their second Cincinnati area location in a $120 million mixed-use development. I had Jenny's for the first time the other day. So this one, currently they have one location up in Norwood, and the second one is going in to a 1,500 square foot space in the district at Deerfield. Now, look, I am a Graders guy. All right, I'm a Cincinnati guy. I'm a Graders guy. For my money, Graders Black Raspberry Chip is the best ice cream in the world that I've ever had. I've had nothing better to. Never had anything to beat it. But I will say, I did go to Jenny's here in Norwood. So let's see here. And I tried a few of them. Okay. I tried the, what did I have? I had the Brambleberry Crisp, which was oven toasted oat streusel and a sweet tart brambleberry jam. That's pretty good. That was not bad. I'm not going to lie. I had a dark chocolate. I think it was this one, darkest chocolate. And this was actually not that sweet. So I kind of had that to like in the middle here. But the one that I had, let me find it here. That I think it was like their original flavor. Where is it? Coffee, wasn't buttermilk. It was not pancakes, not honey vanilla. This one. Oh my goodness. Brown butter almond brittle. This thing was insane. This was, I think, their original flavor. Brown butter almond candy crushed into butter cream ice cream. The almond flavor was just like out of this world. So, and you guys had this out there, Jenny's Ice Cream, brown butter almond brittle. So again, I'm a Graders guy. Okay, Graders the way to go. Coconut chip, Black raspberry chip, love it. Love my Cincinnati Graders. That being said, would get this again. 100% would get the brown butter almond brittle again. And I'm not going to discriminate against ice cream shops. I'm okay with more ice cream shops coming in Cincinnati area. So this one is coming in Deerfield Township. You know, they've got the one in Norwood and the other one's coming up in Deerfield Township. So good for you guys up there. All right, what's going on here? What else is going on here in Cincinnati? So we're going back to those development projects. This was another one, the $26 million Kenton County apartment project. So this is going in right by the Kenton County city building, or county city building, the Kenton County city building, the Kenton County building. They approved a development agreement for the Bavarian project. $26 million project includes 125 apartments above a garage. And that garage is going to be shared with the county building there. And this is if you're coming from the airport or going from Kentucky into Cincinnati, and you're going down I-75, you see the new Kenton County Government Center, which is right off the interstate. And this is right. Let's see if I can bring this up here. View larger map. If you guys know where this is, right when you're coming down 75, here is the Kenton County building. You can see it off the highway. And if you're going north here, right before you hit the river, and you're seeing downtown. So these 125 apartments are coming in right here, it looks like. And they're building a garage right here, probably underneath. And that is what is going on. So another $26 million going in. There's kind of the rendering of it right there. So you can see that kind of L-shaped. And that's where the parking lot is right now. So likely the garage is going in underneath there. So, just going back to this article of there's a banner year for corporate investments, and that was all Cincinnati. It's happened on the Kentucky side too. So I wanted to mention that. All right, last thing I think I want to hit up, and of course, feel free to jump in the chat, ask any questions. You should try Hello Honey, 700 block off Ray Street. I have tried Hello Honey. In fact, there's a Hello Honey right in Fort Thomas, walking distance from me. And, that's kind of how I felt about it. I don't know. Maybe they didn't do it right in Fort Thomas. Maybe it's because taking my kids there is a little different than like a date night ice cream, where you don't mind spending a little bit more money. But when you have like 5 kids asking for like $7 Hello Honey ice creams, I'm like, ugh. Whereas UDF or Graders, little more affordable on the old wallet. But I don't know. Maybe I didn't have the best Hello Honey experience. It wasn't my favorite. Still gonna be rocking Graders number 1. Probably gonna slot Jenny's number 2. But UDF, again, for Cincinnati, it's pretty great for what it is. All right, just want to hit this last thing here with Homerama, and we're going to be doing some videos probably on Homerama coming up this year. It's always a fun event here in Cincinnati, kind of look at what these luxury builders are doing. But there's some new builders added to the Homerama lineup. The groundbreaking date is set. And one thing I wanted to point out is that this is happening in Oakley at Foundry Park. And I'll bring that up here in just a minute. But there's 4 luxury home builders being added to the showcase. In total, 7 builders are now taking part. This is going to be later in the year. It's going to be fall, September 27th through October 12th, and it's going to be in Oakley. But the 4 builders that are being added, Ashford Custom Homes, Classic Living Homes, Justin Doyle Homes, and Somerset Custom Homes, are all added to Greater Cincinnati's 62nd Homerama. They are joining Chris Gorman Homes, WP Land Company, and Heritage Building Group and Associates. Previously, Sterling Homes was also slated. However, the firm is no longer going to be there. This is going to be in Oakley. I want to bring this up, actually. Oakley Foundry Park at 3 Oaks. And this is WP Land's website. Let me see. What we got here. Modern construction meets urban charm in Oakley, selling now. Foundry Park at 3 Oaks is tucked away just a few blocks from Oakley Square in one of the most iconic and highly sought after neighborhoods in Cincinnati. Can attest, people do want to be in Oakley. selling now for Homerama. So here's a little bit of the renderings, what it's going to look like. Inspired by Oakley's vibrant community culture, home sites at Foundry Park are surrounded by green spaces, pocket parks, cozy gathering spots with fire pits, and the incredible local residents and businesses that make Oakley such a desirable place to call home. You're going to have a 15-year tax abatement designed with you in mind. You have the freedom of personalized space with high-end options and luxury finishes. Custom homes are available. So new construction homes for sale. Foundry Park Phase 1 is selling quickly, but you still have options. Happy to answer any questions you have. If you guys are interested in this, and again, working with local builders, recommend you reach out to an agent first. We'd love to help you out. That way, these builders will pay for our commission, and then you get an agent and the builder on your side, which is always nice to have. Three Oaks by the way, I grew up, my first house I ever lived in was in Three Oaks, Michigan. So fun fact there. Three Oaks is an almost magical transformation of a former industrial area to one of Cincinnati's most desirable neighborhoods. The residential site features over 600 homes, including single-family, apartment style, and senior living to accommodate your lifestyle no matter what you are looking for. Let's see if they have any more kind of images here. It's mostly text. So, this is all kind of being constructed. So not a whole lot of Three Oaks. Open maps. Just to show you where this is. Okay. All right. So where you're at in Oakley and why you might want to be in this area. So Factory 52, that's where Jenny's Ice Cream is, by the way. So right across the interstate here. You are, if you guys are familiar with Cincinnati at all, you might know where Crossroads Church Oakley is. So you're kind of right across the street from there is Kroger Marketplace. So you're definitely walking distance to Kroger Marketplace. And then you've got a lot of shops and restaurants in here. You've got Mad Tree Brewing, which is walkable distance. Where am I looking at here? Mikazamel. Let me try to get some restaurants around here. Jimmy John's, McAllister, Stone Korean. This is a lot of Wings and Rings. And so right down the street, or right across the street, I should say, this is kind of Three Oaks where the Homerama site's going to be. So very cool. You're not very rare that you have a Homerama site inside the city. I mean, usually this is kind of out in the suburbs. So you look at this location, you look at your access to downtown. So you're going to have, these homes are not going to be cheap, but they're going to be very nice, custom home built. You're close to Oakley Square, you're close to Hyde Park Square, amazing access to I-71. So you're, likely, 10 minutes to downtown from here. So this is going to be a very, very interesting development. Just wanted to throw that out there today. All right. I think that's going to wrap it up today. I'm going to see if I can try to get these photos off my phone one more time. If not, I'm going to be really angry. But appreciate you guys checking in. Oh, one other thing I want to show you guys before our latest listing here. Just for you guys who watch and are from out of town. Let me see if I can pull this up. 898 Bit Dairy Barn. I don't know why that's not working. Pull it up here. Okay. This is our latest listing that just came out this weekend, and it's home's 3 years old. It was built by Fisher Homes, and the owners put a lot of money into it as well. But one thing I want to show you, a lot of people I talk to, if you're looking for a new home, it's really challenging to not be looking directly into your neighbor's backyard or their windows. And this home is unique because it's up on this ridge, and you've got these gorgeous sunset views over these Kentucky hills here. And so I just wanted to throw this out to you. Any guys looking in the Cincinnati area, this is just listed. I think it's going to go pretty quick. We listed for $570 because they put in over 70,000 of updates into it, including finishing the basement. But you've got this beautiful 2-story living room with mechanical curtains, which is great. Wide open floor plan, beautiful kitchen, granite counters, opens up to the sunroom or the morning room over here. Beautiful cabinets, updated appliances. This is just a really beautiful home. And so first floor master suite. Wanted to show you guys this in case anyone is looking in the Northern Kentucky area. And you got 2 bedrooms and a loft upstairs, and then you got all this finished space downstairs as well. So they kind of put in an audio system. You're hardwired for internet. So you got a media room, you got room for a gym, you've got extra bonus rooms down here as well, including a tornado shelter. So if you want to watch or see a little bit more of what this looks like, we did a video. Well, I'm trying to get to my channel. You guys are seeing behind the scenes right now. But go check out our channel, and our latest video here is right here, so you can see the whole thing. And kind of get a tour of this house. So really nice house. Kind of give you the overview there. And if you're moving to the Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky area, check out Alexandria, Kentucky. This is a spot that's kind of good for, you're out in the country a little bit, so you've got a little space with your neighbors. Again, you're not looking right at your neighbors in this home, which is nice. You're up on a hill, you're up on a ridge. You've got this amazing deck. They've got an automatic awning system on that back deck as well, with all the finished space. So hit me up if you're interested in a tour of this home or want to know more. But this is our latest listing that just went out here. So wanted to show you guys that. All right, guys, I am going to check out. So I appreciate you jumping in on the live. Hope you have a great Sunday evening and amazing week, and we will see you in the next one.